Hello, welcome back to another stream from Tachyon Lands. Today we're going to be looking at another fleet battle involving our meta cruisers. Now this comes from a couple of suggestions from numerous people. There's been about 3 or 4 people send me suggestions. So far we've come up with some different combinations for the cruisers and battleships to challenge the cruiser meta. So what we've got is our battleships will be running with this build. We've taken out a large slot artillery, put in 2 slots of plasma, which actually gives us an extra auxiliary slot, and we've put in some reactive armor for plus 25% armor hardening, and we've changed a lot of the shields to extra armor to hopefully make the battleship stronger. So they're the main changes for the battleship. For the, it might be easier to do this. For the cruiser, we've actually come up with a direct counter for the cruiser meta. This is about as a direct counter as we could find. I've tested this separately with just cruisers versus cruisers, and it was very, very close. It came down to just a couple of cruisers separating the battle. The cruiser meta still won, but it was the closest battle I've seen. So what we've got is, we've got devastator torpedoes, 2 lots of auto cannons, we've got flak and PD to try and counter the torpedoes, we've got some strike craft, and we've got plasma. So all of these should be effective against armor, except for the auto cannons, and we've got extra torpedoes there, and we've got extra armor on here as well. If just 1 shield, we do have the armor hardening. It's a bit of a, you can't see it there. And we've also got the afterburners. The change to this cruiser meta, what I've done is to counter the extra artillery, we're using extra armor and just 1 shield, because it's been suggested that extra armor is better in the 3.6 beta. So let's test it out. We're adding the armor hardening on, and we're adding in, well, keeping the 2 advanced afterburners. What I did, I changed the last slot from whirlwind missiles to 2 lots of marauder missiles. So we'll see how that goes, because that actually gives us a 3rd auxiliary slot. So maybe that makes these guys even stronger. I was actually thinking this the other day when I was making the cruiser meta. I was actually thinking, stronger armor might be the way to go, because you put in the armor hardening and to use this as the auxiliary slots to get that extra auxiliary slot. So this, I think, is an improvement for the cruiser meta, but we'll have to test it to find out. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Now this fleet is slightly more powerful. I think the other one was about 75k. This is 76.8. So it must have a few more hit points in. And this is, I think the other one was 49, so the cruiser fleet's a little bit stronger too. Must be the armor changes, I think. So let's go ahead and test this out and have a good look.
Hostile fleet assets engaged.
Strike craft going in, their cruisers are trying to stop us getting through. Taking damage to our shields. They've lost a whole bunch of cruisers. We've lost a few. Battleships are pulling back as they should. We're losing more ships. Still about 20k difference in firepower, or it was. Oh yeah, it still is. Oh, we're chewing through their cruisers now. Now we're starting to get in range of their battleships. Let's pause, see what the damage is. So yeah, we've got a lot of damage from devastator torpedoes. Both sides have them. Well, the cruiser meta has 3 versus 1 for the other cruisers. Kinetic artillery, phase disruptor, marauder missiles to armor. So devastator, look at that, 191,000. That's just crazy. That's because the two cruiser fleets closed in and were obliterating each other. Advanced strike craft are doing well, doing as much damage as the artillery. And you got the medium plasmas, marauder missiles. Still, the devastator torpedoes are just doing so much damage. Looks like most of their cruiser fleet's gone. They're taking out the battleships. Yeah, looks like this is over. Yeah, that's a wipe, and that's just their fleet, the reserves. We actually killed quite a lot of ships. That's just what jumped away. Alright, so that didn't really work that well, did it? I think that was worse than the fleet that we had previously, with the battleships having more shields and the cruisers having more shields. So why would that be? Let's have a look at the ship design. The cruisers, well, they go through shields anyway. They do damage to the hull and armor. So it wouldn't make much difference. They're going through the shields, so it wouldn't matter much if they've got shields or not. Same there. Same there. So all these weapons go through shields, so it wouldn't matter if they've got shields or not. So I'm just wondering if the actual shield regen is helping with the battle. Alright, I'll do a different design. I'm going to change up the battleships a little bit. Okay, so this time I've changed up the battleship designs. We're going for lasers, because lasers do extra damage to the armor. That seems to be what people want to use more, so we'll try the lasers, and we'll go with the tachyon lance to do damage to the armor and hull, rather than the giga cannon. Now, obviously this works with people who are going more armor, so that's why I always had a 50-50 balance to counter the different builds, but some people have suggested that armor's better, so we're going with an armor build, and then obviously we've got weapons which counter armor as well, because that's what people are going to use. Cruisers, there's no change to these cruisers, they're still the same, and the other cruisers are also the same. So the only thing I haven't changed on the battleships is the combat computers. Maybe they could do with a different system rather than artillery, but I think these cruisers are going to close within close range anyway, so all their weapons are going to be firing regardless. So let's see if this makes any difference at all. The tachyon lancers firing. It's funny saying tachyon lance, that's my name, or at least my YouTube name. Alright, seems they seem to be killing more cruisers now. Oh, the cruiser meta could be about to fall. Battleships are doing a lot of damage here. Let's have a look at this. So devastator torpedoes, yeah, tachyon lancers there. Doing a lot of damage. Devastator torpedoes, tachyon lane, look at that, 68,500. And the large gamma lasers, they're also hammering them. And the strike craft, so yeah, this is a lot better combination. Now they're into the battleships, but they're pretty much defeated. There we go. Crushing victory to the battleships this time. Okay, so there we go. We've shown how you can beat a massed cruiser meta. So this is a very specific build though, so do keep that in mind. The battleships, just so we can see again. Where are they? Battleships here. So the battleships were focused on armor, massive amounts of armor, and the lasers. I think it was this combination that really did it. So this type of combination, when you've got enough ships to run interference to screen them, will counter those cruisers with the devastator torpedoes and missiles quite effectively. So keep that in mind. But if you come up against a fleet, if we went back to, let's say we went back to with shields of this fleet, would this be as effective? Let's find out quickly. Okay, so the only change this time is to the cruiser meta we've been talking about and testing recently. So we've gone back, putting 50% shields, 50% armor, and put shield hardening on instead of the armor hardening. So we're going back to our previous build pretty much, except for the change in the missiles, and we've got the extra auxiliary slot. This fleet remains unchanged. So we'll see how it goes against probably a well-balanced fleet with extra shields. Well, not extra shields, but 50-50 split in shields and armor, to see if this fleet would do as good against just a well-balanced setup rather than stacking armor. I think the other side's taking more losses already. The cruisers are taking a lot of losses. Alright, let's have a look at the damage. The devastator torpedoes again. Tachyon lancers are doing a fair bit of damage. And again, same torpedoes and tachyon lancers. Strike craft. Autocannons are doing good against shields. Good. The battleship's just running. Running for its life. Alright, so that was a clear victory to the cruisers. So as soon as we put shields back on the cruisers, the other build becomes ineffective because it's too tailored for armor. So that's where I know people come up with suggestions like, oh, we should put more armor piercing on it or more armor. But then you're stacking the fleet in one direction and it's not balanced to counter multiple different threats. So, and whereas this fleet is balanced and it counters that build up very effectively. So what we'll do, we'll put the battleships and the other fleet back to a 50-50 shield armor split and we'll see how we go. Okay, so we've got both fleets back to a 50-50 split in armor shields. We've gone back to having artillery on the battleships so we can get through those shields. I've left the tachyon lancers on to provide extra damage to the battleships to try and destroy that armor and hull on the cruisers. We've got the plasmas there, the reactive armor's there. We're going to keep the armor strong because the cruisers do a lot of damage to that. They're all going through the shields. And same here, just change it up to have more shields, put 3 more shields on again, and left the armor hardener on. So we'll see how both fleets stack up. This fleet is the same, 50-50 split. Let's see how this goes. Tachyon lancers going in, bang, 2 cruisers down. All their cruisers are getting chewed up. Doing some damage. The numbers are sort of leveling out a little bit. Okay, we're sort of through the cruisers. Let's check the damage. Devastator torps, tachyon lancers again. Same for there, 115,000. Just all the cruisers dying, taking damage. Still in front in firepower. I think I've just got too many cruisers left. Oh, maybe tachyon lancers are ripping into them. they just lost a heap of battleships then. 4 went down all at once. And that must be the torpedoes. Instead of missiles chasing after the battleships. They're running. You can just kite them around the map and keep doing damage at long range. No, ran out of room. Oh, it's just their fleet jumping back in. So that was a clear victory to the cruiser fleet again. So the main difference
Alert. Fleet unit offline.
all of these battles is the devastator torpedoes. That is the one thing that hasn't changed. And other than the one battle where we went hard on anti-armor weapons, stacking the lasers, stacking the plasma, stacking the tachyon lance, and then we also had the hard cruiser counter as well. So unless we know exactly that the enemy is coming at us with these cruisers, we can't do a hard counter, and it would only work against those cruisers. Against another well-balanced fleet with shields, that fleet will probably get beaten like we just saw there. So I guess that's a good test from some of the ideas people have thrown at us, but you can see there is a hard counter there for those cruisers. So if you come up against it, you know how to beat it. But it's not good for pretty much any other type of battle, any other type of fleet makeup. It'd be very easy to counter that fleet with just a 50-50 split in shields and armor. The one thing that this fleet is very good against is, if you have a look at the design, what makes it so effective is that all these weapons work together. They're all going through the shields. The devastator torpedoes do the multiplicative damage, while these guys are all going through shields. Those going through shields and armor. These go through the shields, do damage to the hull. So they're all going through the shields. So the shields are pretty much ineffective. So I think that's enough for today. That's showing good suggestions from people out there putting through ideas. So if you want to send through some other ideas that I can test out, please do. Make some comments and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again next time.